Good afternoon, gents. Excuse me a second. Sorry I'm late. I got a bit tied up. I went shopping early and had a flat tyre. So I'm a bit late. I've literally just jumped in and I saw that. Bit of a channel. I just took a quick point. And it's a good job I took a point because it didn't go down for very far, did it? You'd have got a point and a half out of it at a push. I just took a quick point out of it. I think I rushed a bit. So, hope everyone's okay. So, let's have a little look. What's been going on? Okie dokie. So, I hope... what is going on here? There's a... it doesn't matter. It's by the by that anyway. No, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Is anybody with me? I know I've got a load of comments, but everything is working. If everything's working, just somebody say something. It does say there's 21 viewers. I think a lot of you probably disappeared. How late am I? Nearly an hour, actually. Is anybody with me? If anyone can hear me, can anybody hear me? Is everything working okay? The man, the myth, the legend. There we go. I got her in the end. Sorry about that. I came out the car park and my tyre is flat as a pancake. So I've obviously run over something. So I had to quickly change the spare. I haven't changed the spare wheel for about 15 years. So I wasn't my quickest. So, what have I missed? Have I missed any trades? Not a lot by the looks of things. Big strong move there, load of sideways and down. I just jumped in and I drew that, and that. And I saw that. It looked like a sort of a visual second entry or 1, 2, 3, like a triple test. And I just jumped in for a point. I probably rushed it, but you know when sometimes you jump on the screen and you see something, you think, oh, and you don't think clearly, but I got in for a point anyway. It seemed to quite fit. It actually came back up a third. Was it? In fact, it went once, twice. It looked like a triple test and sort of like a few bounces off there. It came back, and if you'd have took more than a point and a half, it'd have ticked above. But these are the areas that I usually give it an extra tick, and sometimes they can save you bacon for some reason. It is frustrating when it does that. It comes back up, ticks you out for one tick, and then drops like a stone. It's blooming frustrating, I've got to say. So, Luca, how are you? I haven't heard from you for a while. Where have you been hiding, my friend? So, is that a small break? I'd say possibly touched here. In fact, let me have a look. Let me think about this. Yeah. That fits a bit better. So, okay, so touched here, little break. I got a point out of it on my account. So, what's the thought? Hold your horses a minute. Okay.
Order submitted.
Yeah, that's fine.
Order cancelled.
Right. Okay. So 24. Yeah. Okay. Everything's fine. So, well, okay. Thanks. Excellent. So, who've we got in? Groll Daddy, how you doing? How you doing? What? Sam, how you doing? Brick, Exponential Trader, JP, Ionis, ES Trader. Good morning. I am late. JP, one too many. I didn't actually last night. I'm out of whiskey at the moment. That's part of the reason I went to the supermarket. Got myself a nice 10-year-old bottle of Lafroig. It's all good. John Chan, all good. Luca, excellent. Okay, sorry I'm a bit late. Just one of them days. Sometimes we have them, don't we? So So yeah, whether that's a small break or not, possibly not. Maybe let's have a look. Actually, that kind of fits better. It's hard to say, isn't it? Kind of like that. Would you say that's an overshoot? It's hard to say. No, let's leave it like that because it touches there, doesn't it? Really, in just a fraction. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that looks okay, actually. So it came up again. For me, that was the triple test. We've gone once, pull back here, twice, pull back 3 times, and quite a bar, but it gave me point, but it came back up and ticked 1 tick above. In all fairness, if I'd have taken that, I can't remember what I did now, but I'd have put me stop above here anyway. I always usually give it 1 tick on this type of thing because a lot of times it will tick you out and then come down and get a good move. So let's see how we get on. It's been awful lately, I've got to say. There's no news today. We did have some news earlier on around about here. Nothing. We had a real strong move, didn't we? I don't know how you drew that. Let's have a look. Possibly maybe like that. Kind of looks okay. A couple of legs back. You'd have expected another push up there, but we didn't break the highs. Tried a few times and then give up the ghost. Yeah, probably something like that. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? Yeah, it's got to be something like that, I would have thought. A spike in a channel. Let's have a look. Maybe like that. There's your break. It did look like a couple of legs. But there's nowhere to go long there anyway, is there? And I'm surprised. I thought that after a good push like that would have pushed up. I wouldn't have said this is going to end up as a range. But it never got above there. I was just thinking if there's anything that I would have gone long in there if I'd have been here. Probably not. There was nothing there really. Nothing. There's a high low, but it's just congested, so not there. And then obviously nothing there, so it started to come down then. So that's the thing. Sometimes it doesn't always. It depends how you draw that. It's probably a spike and channel. It's got to be from there. So it's touching there a few times, touching there. So I'd say, yeah, it's probably going to be something in the region of that. Okay, so let's see what happens. I missed that trade you took. I was greedy and tried to get a better entry with a limit order. Did you really? To be fair, I was probably a bit lucky there. It did. I mean, we touched. Let's drop that. We touched here. We've been going a bit sideways. Nothing. Then in the end, obviously the bulls gave up and the bears won over. So we touched here. In fact, can move that up a fraction. You usually go with your first swing, which was there. It touched here. And yeah, if you go with there, somewhere on the region that, but that looked like a triple test to me. It pushed up once, then this bar came right the way down, crossed over and pushed up again, and then it went sideways and pushed up again. So for me, that was a triple test. And we seem to be coming down after this. So I was a bit quick. I jumped in and I probably got a bit lucky there because it only went for about 1.5 points, I think. So if you got it at a tick below it, which is about here. Yeah, you may have squeezed 1.5 points out of that. You'd have got 1.5 points. I took a point anyway. At the moment, with the ATR being a bit, and what I didn't like as well is all these stems here. So I don't know. A couple of times, I've missed trades and they went for 1 point. So I'm just wondering now, depending on how good the trade is, whether to just stick to 6 ticks or 1 point just for a while, just till we get some of these institutional guys back at work, because things are hard at the moment. There's lack of setups, and what little setups there are. I mean, look, that went down 0.75, came back up, stopped that one out, because they know where whether it's the algorithms, they know where the trades are. They know people that have been in there, and it came down, went up, ticked them out, and then bloody dropped a couple of legs down. Excuse me, what did it go down to? 4, 6, 8, 10. It came down the best part of 10 points. It is frustrating. But that's why your setups have got to be top drawer, really. Because if they're not, market just screws over you. You've got to wait for those setups where lots of traders get into and the market moves. But it's a bit congested there. I went for it because it looked like a triple test, but I think there was an element of luck there. We are coming down, so, well, it was an element of luck. I wasn't, if I'd been going for 2 points. Having said that, these are the areas where I tend to give it an extra tick, because a lot of times it'll tick you out for one. So, in fact, I'm not sure whether this is a better option. Kind of fits better. Yeah, I kind of like that. Up a touch. Yeah. I think that's better. It fits better on the back. So we touched here. This is where it started to come out. But I just noticed the sort of few pushes up. Excuse me. It was also filled break long. Also filled break long. Filled. Do you mean failed break long? I think you mean, yeah, you mean failed. I say filled. Yeah, small break. The trouble is, even with that one, you wouldn't have taken that one, would you? Really, because you just don't know whether we're going to push up there. I expected, or I would have expected it to push after that big strong move like that. You'd have at least expect it to test these highs, but it really struggled, and then all of a sudden just dropped. So after that big push, obviously, yeah, I'm glad there's no setups along there, because that's where I've been looking. One leg, it was almost a measured leg, wasn't it? That's where I've been looking to get back in. Not quite, but there's two clear legs. I'd have been looking for it to push over there and maybe get a higher lower of failure there. I've probably still got 2 points, but trouble is with a move like that, you do expect it to push higher. That's if that channel's right. I can't see how it's not, really. Unless it's more this. Let's have a look. It could be more that, actually. I'd like to say I'd have preferred to have had a break there. Let me have a look. Maybe 2 legs. Yeah, maybe something like that, actually. I'll see what Mac draws. I'm guessing we probably had a break. I'm not sure about that one. Trade you took as a second failed entry. Oh, you failed second entry, yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah, wasn't the best one. Mind you, see, we seem to be pushing up there. There's a failure there, which is trigger. Let me think. Yeah, there may have been some. I don't know. It's a little bit congested, but for me, it just looked like I just thought, oh, triple test, and it was coming down anyway, so I just chucked it in quick. Unfortunately, I got a point out of it. Okay, so yeah, so that looks right now. We've had a break, a couple of pushes down to a new low, and now we're coming out. So I'm just wondering, where are we going? Are we just going to maybe come up and retest some of this and come back down again? Or maybe one leg, 2 leg, and then another leg down? Yeah, I think it's safe to say we've probably had a break there. I don't think we'll have see if we got anything from Mac yet. Might be a bit early. Oh no, we have. Interesting to see. I'm guessing he's done it. I'm guessing he's drawn it as if we've had a break already. That's the trouble if you don't get these trades, these channels right. You can be looking for longs there. They can give you duff information. John Chan, are you a new face? I think you are, brother, aren't you? Where are you from, mate? John Chan, I don't recognise that name, so I think you're a new face. Yeah, okay, so Max got it. That's more or less the same. Yeah, so his break is here, so that is about there, and that, where's this? It's about here, I think, so. Yeah, somewhere in the region of that, isn't it? Yeah, something like that. Okay, so yeah, we seem to have had one leg up, a little bit of sideways, another leg up, a little bit of sideways, and then the break, and two pushes up. So that it just goes to show how important these channels are, really, doesn't it? That you get them right, because you could draw that where it hasn't had a break. But look, it's still trying to be pushed up, isn't there? There's still traders thinking we're going higher, so let's get in. And when I came on here and I saw sort of this, and I'm thinking, is it just going to drop? It's another reason why I took that. So, the exponential trader on that 10,000 tick chart in a minute was the first break of the channel. I've got that near somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, I've got it here. What did you say? What was your comment? I've been watching for a week, living the use. Oh, okay. Welcome. Good for you, mate. Good for you. I'm not an expert. I've been trading for a couple of years this style, and about 6 months with currency. So I'm just what I would call a struggling trader. I'm making bits of money off Apex, but not as much as I'd like, but hopefully. Exponential on the 10,000 tick chart, 5 minute. It's the first break of the channel. Where are you on about here? Where are you on about down? Oh, this here. Okay, so yeah, that would make sense. Let's put that there then. That's the trouble. Depends where you go from, doesn't it? Let's bring that out a bit. Put that there. In fact, didn't I have it like that earlier? I did move it like that, didn't I? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, you can't put it here. It's not going to work, is it? So, touch here. Maybe an overshoot. It's hard to say. We've only touched it a couple of times here, but touches here and touches here. So, maybe that's an overshoot. It's hard to say, because if you bring that in a bit like that, might be safe to assume it's an overshoot, so it could go up. So just be careful what I'm looking for here. Oh, just quickly, the Apex, I had a ton of them. I had about $140 worth of commissions yesterday. So whoever took somebody took loads. So if you used my code yesterday, that was quite a nice surprise early hours of this morning. So if you use my Apex code, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I was quite shocked. That's the most I've ever got in one lump sum. It's about $120. So if you did use my code, thank you very much. It's appreciated. Last couple of days, isn't it? Today, tomorrow, and I think it finishes Monday. Check. I think it does. It says on the Apex site. 4 hours there. 4 days. 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, it finishes on Monday. And then I'm guessing we'll probably go on to 50% off resets for a week or so, I'm guessing. And then maybe 80%. I don't think we'll get another 90 until Labour Day, which is in a couple of months, isn't it? Month and a half. Beginning of September, yeah, just over a month. So, okay, so let's say Trouble is, you've got to be careful going short here because it could be an overshoot. Touched here, touched here, touched here. Depends, see, really. You could drag that out a bit and it touch in, touch here. So it's hard to say, really. Now, I like to assume it's an overshoot. So don't automatically look to go short. We have had a breaker there and a new high. So what I like to do is let the trap. So if you're going to take a short there, let's give it a chance to, you take a lower high below here, but let's give it a chance to see if that's going to get trapped. Let's have a look. Break new high. Yeah, see, there may be a lot of traders in, well, not a lot, but some traders in there thinking we're going down because we've had a break, but I think that's an overshoot. I like to try and assume the worst. Oh, that's going to tick above there. Yeah, it has. Okay, so we've had a little channel here, we've had a break, we've had a new high. Now let's see. Okay, so if there's any traders took that break new high, you got stopped out. So you only really want to be going short if we get a push below the main a lower high. But I like to assume that's an overshoot, in which case it could continue back up. Let's see if there's any type of a range here. Somewhere like that anyway. Let's see what happens. There is a little bit of support along there, so it may resistance. Sorry, so it may leg break leg. Let's have a look. What's Bookmap doing? Okay, there is liquidity at 24. 24/25, so around between these two lines somewhere, but as I say, there is a bit of resistance there, so there is a possibility we've had a break new high and it may just touch this time or two and then come down. Quite a bit of volume today, actually. Certainly a lot more than yesterday. Usually at the end of the day, I struggle to fit it on there. It's taking space up, all right, that is. If I usually widen it enough so you can clearly see the bars, and it usually fills the page at the end of the day. So there's definitely a lot more liquidity today than normal. What have you had yesterday? Okay, so break new high. So are we going higher, or are we going to bounce and come lower? Maybe look for a lower high below the EMA here. See, it might be an overshoot, it might not be. I like to assume it is. That way it keeps me out of trouble. But if we can, yeah, we've pushed, we've had a break new high, pull down. If we can get something below here, then I'd pull that back out. It's hard to say because it touches here and touches here and almost sort of here. So it probably is like that. But Mr. Tick there, look. Trouble is often lately it doesn't just come back and give us an option again, and it just drops, and it's frustrating. That is. That's annoying. Okay, so I would be expecting a new low here. So if we can get like a couple of legs out, maybe we can get some short. I've got a funny feeling it's just not going to give us it. Come on, give us a setup. Sam Fiber now. Monday, mate. Monday. It's been fitted Monday morning. It's called Fiber Heroes or something like that. Should get 900 megabits per second. So I'll be able to change the settings on YouTube to ultra low latency. I believe it's a maximum of 2-second delay. So we'll be have a talk about trades real time. Okay, so break. Unfortunately, just one entry. Whether we'll get a second entry, I don't know. But the way that's looking, I'd certainly expect to break these lows. Touching there. Yeah, it looks okay to me. The only on the sort of slightly negative side, could say we've had an overshoot, but it just touches a couple of times there. Really, if you bring that out to there, it touches there a couple of times, and it touches there. So you could probably say that is just as valid. Yeah, there is a break in a bearish bar there, leg down. Do I expect it to come down? Yeah, unfortunately, there's no setup. It's a first entry. And sod's law, if you take that, it'll trigger you and stop you out and then give you a second entry. Just as we thought. Unfortunately, just a first entry. It's too low, that is, to be a lower high. That's more like a leg. We pretty much knew it was going to do that, didn't we? Trouble is, guaranteed you do nothing, it drops like a stone. As soon as you take a short there, triggers you, stops you out, drops like a stone. You can't win sometimes. And so many times it doesn't do this as well. It is frustrating to see that, isn't it? I don't know, you may have been a bit risky and took that, but to be fair, I've tried those trades before, I've tried bending the rules before, but it just doesn't work. It'll happen once or twice, you'll get away with it, but then you'll start to pick up bad habits. Look at that, right to the nearest tick, boink. That's frustrating, isn't it? So this is now played out. So, now what we're going to do. That's frustrating, isn't it? Consider that a lower high. You're not, no. See, for me, that's channel with a first entry, so it's a first entry. I thought, I don't know, I tend to think lower highs. Let's see if I can find, maybe, see that bar there? That's a sort of a higher low coming from here, from there, but to me, that's a sort of a complete move with a break, so I'd like a second entry from there. I don't know, I suppose we all have slightly different ideas. Hey Sam, how you doing, mate? We all have slightly different ideas of things, but I'm sure I heard someone say, I did something like that, set a lower high, and he said that's too far down for a lower high. A lower high is sort of like the next level down. Maybe you see this here, maybe you call that a lower high, but that seems to be a complete channel down and then a break, so I don't know whether I wouldn't class that as a lower high. I mean, it is a lower high, but not a lower high to trade, because after we've had a break, I'd expect a second entry to take a trade. It would be a second entry short, so it'd be like two legs, one leg, two leg. That was just one leg out. Chris, it's gone too far for a low high. Yeah, you think so as well? Yeah, that was my thoughts. I thought a lower high had to be sort of in the same move, really. That was actually, we've had the move, and that was the sort of break. Otherwise, every time we had a break out of a channel, you'd be taking a first entry. Do you know what I mean? When a lot of cases we'll have sort of a break, and then a little pullback and another leg. So second entry short, and then to come down. Don't know whether there is a bigger channel working here. Sometimes it's easier to do it from the bottoms. It's possible. Touched a couple of times there, touch there, touch there, touch. It's hard to say, really. Sort of both fit, don't they? Let's just change the colour of that, see if we can get a little bit of contrast. Let's have a look. Okay, so touch. Perhaps it's just we've had this one and it's turned into something a bit bigger, possibly. 2, 3. We started here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could say that's working from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. It fits really nice, actually. So, leg. Let's see where we get up here. So, possibly something like that. Good morning, yes, trader. How you doing? No setup there, really. On 5 PAs now. First trade on 5 at once. Got me 2 points. Good on you, mate. 2 points. What are you trading? 2 contracts? If I was you, I'd finish now and go home, mate. Go home on the green. Good start, that is. To be fair, if I can get to $200 per account with this current climate, I'm quite happy. Why did you skip that second entry short? It's not really a second entry short there, mate. There's the first entry. That bar really needs to be at least level. It's not really. So it's just too risky, that is. There's your first entry. Your second, see, that's really the highest one. That's really signal bar, and it's naff. So that one's just no good, really. The top of the bar needs to be at least as high as that, ideally 1 tick above it, to be a good second entry. That type of thing, really. You make all, if you come from me, you make all that second entry, but it's not. It's further down here, so that makes it naff. Not saying it's not going to come down. Obviously, it's quite bearish at the moment, but excuse me a second. Sorry about that. It's my dog scratching again. Maybe we get a lower high here. It's hard to say at the moment, so you got to be careful. I had that channel drawn and we had a break in a new low. I've just recently changed this bigger one. It seems to fit okay. But it could catch you out going short here. It does seem to be working in that channel, right? So I'm quite okay with that. There is strong liquidity, 210, which is down here, and 27. So things seem to be working their way down. Yeah, not only that, it's a little bit sideways there, really. That bar there really wants to have a stem like that, really. That'd be a second entry, but it really, with second entries, they need to look like 2 legs, really. And it's one across, really, isn't it? So it doesn't really work, that. I'd give you an example, but we don't get many second entries at the moment. I mean, let's say that was bearish. That would kind of work as a second entry. We got leg and a leg, 1 leg up, 2 legs up. But obviously, it's not very bearish, but it did come down. It's hard to give examples because we don't get a lot of second entries at the moment. And when you do see a second entry, you've got to sort of question yourself because it's sort of it's disbelief. In fact, let's get rid of that now. See if that looks okay. That looks all right to me. Yeah, when you see a good second entry now, it's sort of shock. You can't get your... And the trouble is, when you do get a good second entry, every man and his dog gets in there. So if you don't get the trade quick, you can miss out on it. So leg. Yeah, you're not the only one, Luke. We all do that, mate. Everyone's guilty of forcing setups. I've done it myself. I'm a bit better at not doing it now. I tend to wait for something. So although I knew there was a fair idea that was coming down. At one point, I may have taken that, and sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But it's not a good setup. It's only a first entry now. In a downtrend, sometimes the trend helps you out, and in that case, it probably did there. But it's not a setup. But it's something I would have taken in the past. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. But it does pick up bad habits. So, and I still have to tell myself sometimes the only way you're ever going to make money as a consistent trader is if you sit and wait for good quality setups. If that would have come down and you'd have one leg up, two leg up, nice and bearish below the EMA, then I'd have taken it. But and the trouble is, with the current climate, volume's generally low at the moment. A lot of the institutional traders, which bring the big volume to the party, are on their holidays at the moment. So that, things don't move like they usually do. And it's just been tough conditions over the last, couple of months, few months. It just seems to be getting harder and harder. And if you can get one decent setup a day, you kind of feel lucky. But the trouble is, the downside to that is because there's a lack of setups, you sort of almost dare yourself to take a poor trade, or maybe a 7 out of 10 trade as opposed to a 9 out of 10. And sometimes it can come back and bite you on the arse. But only one is 1 micro. Yes, it is, Sam. It's 10 times smaller than a mini, so 1 micro is $5, 1 mini is $50. Well, it's funny you say that, Brant. It was somebody told me, was it you who told me that the Penguin guy says you can trade congestion as long as you know what you're doing? And it kind of makes sense, because sometimes, when we get a channel down here and we're at the bottom and then we'll go sideways up until we hit this bar here and we get a nice big bearish bar, and then you go short. And we're trading in congestion, but as the Penguin guy says, if you can trade congestion as long as you know what you're doing. Congestion's all right, I think. See, we pushed up and then we went sideways, didn't we? But then we got to a point where the market just took off again. It did the same. It went up there, went sideways. So if you know how to read these areas, so if you look at that, you've got to push up. There is sort of a failure there, isn't there? Try go low once, try go twice, and from that bar there, that's when it went up. So if you know what you're doing with congestion, sometimes I understand congestion. Often we'll go up in a channel like that, and we'll go sideways to this side, and you get a nice solid green bar above the EMA, and that's when it moves up again, and then it'll go sideways again. So let's have a look at some more sarcasm, because since it's slowed down, he's making trades that aren't congested. Yeah, I got to say, I don't know whether Mac helps new traders really with all the trades he's shown, because he's the one that's drummed into us. You need to take the best of the best trades, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 trades a day, but yet he's marking 15 high probability trades. Well, that's just completely confusing. If we only need to be looking for a couple of the best trades a day, the high probability trades, why is he marking 15 or 20 of them? And let's face it, Mac's target audience is inexperienced traders. So I don't think he does us any favour. He's probably not aware of it. I don't know. Maybe we should message him a bit and just say, look, I'm just finding it a bit confusing sometimes. I'm seeing what you're marking as a high probability setup. I'm taking it myself and it's not working. So he sort of contradicts himself in a way. Now, don't get me, I'm not meaning it nastily, because I like Mac. I think he's a nice guy. He's done a lot for traders and at a very small price as well. At least the bar's small now. I remember when the bars were around 40. Yeah, it wasn't long ago, was it? In fact, I'm sure we had that discussion with Mac, and didn't Mac say go up to the 3,000 tick chart or down to the one? I can't remember. To make the see if the ATR is 1.76 there, and I go down to 1,000 tick chart, that should drop. Yeah, it is. So that kind of makes the bars a bit less. So you've got that option, haven't you? if the ATR is particularly high one day, because it still works the same. I mean, it's still working nice in there. So if the ATR is particularly big, it's not lately. It's been really low, but you have got that option to drop down a size, and that gives you a slightly smaller bar on average. And likewise, I suppose you could go up to the 5,000 tick chart, couldn't you? And that would take the ATR up, and that sort of kind of works the same, doesn't it? So, I don't know. But according to Mac, it doesn't matter what time frame you trade, it works exactly the same. He needs to mark the trades he took. Oh, mate, I tell you what, I can't tell you how many times I've said that, Scruffy. I did message him once and ask him about that, and he sort of avoided the answer. He said, if you listen closely, you can tell sometimes. And I thought, well, yeah, if you're following a trader, I want to see the types of trades he takes. I want to know what goes on in his head. So I can't, for the likes of me. The only reason I could think of is because he breaks his own rules. Because he's that experienced, that might not be a second entry short, but if he's been sat looking at these charts for 25 years, you got a fair chance you know what that's going to do next. I mean, I said it looks like a leg and a leg. Now, I can't trade that because, one, there's no guarantees, and I've been looking at these charts for 2 years. Now, had I been looking at these charts for 20 years, I may jump in on a big bearish bar like that, on a downtrend. So perhaps he'll mark, perhaps he'll mark trades that aren't in the rule book. I don't know. Absolutely. Yeah, hindsight bias, agreed. You can't unsee something. If you've seen it's worked, you'll mark it. But that's where it can get confusing for newer, more inexperienced traders. At least I can look now and be objective that, it may look like a good trade after the fact, but before the fact, you probably wouldn't take it. I mean, we all saw Mac a couple of months ago mark 2 dojis. Now, seeing it bounce off there from 2 dojis, it worked. But at the time, when you get a doji appear, according to Mac's rules, you should run and hide. So I just, I think you need to be aware of the way Mac does it, and just, keep it in mind that we can't just take all the trades that resemble something. You've got to pick the best of the best. Yeah, his trades are definitely marked after the fact, of course they are, yeah. But it would be nice, just now and again, just to get a glimpse of what he takes. And the reason I think is because he maybe breaks his own rules, which is okay. I mean, we've got guidelines, haven't we? But you don't need to stick to them. That's up to you. You can trade however you want. So I do wonder whether he's developed and changed over the years, but the basics he's teaching you. Because I think, you've had this conversation before, Brant. As you develop a trade, you naturally find your. It's like learning to drive, isn't it? You don't cross your hands. You part like this, you reverse like this. But when you get more experience, you naturally find your own way of doing things. You generally follow the rules, but we've all got different tolerances when it comes to risk. So some people might be slightly more risk averse than others. So I'd say that's probably, he does things differently because he's seen these markets day after day for year after year. So naturally he'll see his own way. I mean, if we see that's not a second entry, but if we see that move day after day after day, and it works exactly the same, sooner or later you're gonna have to start asking the question that why I'm not shorting that, Nick, don't start you coming in causing trouble. Mac admits the trades he marks are not his trades. Yeah, we know he only does a couple a day. You can't sit in the background, Nick, and all of a sudden just start barging into people's conversations. Can almost guarantee what he's going to mark up until that point. Yeah, you can. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? You have to find what works for you. Yeah. I think Matt gives you the basics, and then I think you find your own feet. It's natural, human beings. We see things and we adapt. And if markets change, which they do over time, you adapt to them. Like I say, if you see that move day after day, sooner or later you're gonna start taking that short, aren't you? He's a bit of a troublemaker, Nick, as he sits in the background and pretends he's not there, and then all of a sudden he'll jump in. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the trades he marks, then go back the previous day and find out whether they actually worked. If you could go back in time, that would be interesting. So what is going on here? How's your trading getting on, Nick, anyway? I haven't heard from you for a week or so. What's going on here? Anyone who says they have 100% win rate is blowing smoke. Yeah, unless you're trading for one tick. You might be able to believe them. Yeah. I definitely say there's people well into the 90s. It depends. See, if you're going for 4 ticks, in lots of cases, trades that will go 4 ticks and they'll move. So, Chris, how you doing, bud? I love Mac, but one is has to be skeptical unless he sees everything live. Yeah, absolutely. Some of the YouTubers I watch, but they miss some days. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Yeah, what I think I'm at the level now that most of the time, if a trade doesn't work, I can work it out. Now, the downside to scalping is because markets move quick, sometimes you don't have a lot of time to think. You can see trades appear sort of quickly, and sometimes you can jump in a little bit premature, and I do that myself quite a lot. And I think the trick is, if you see what you think is a trade quickly, sometimes you have to sit and take a breath, and if it goes without you, it goes without you. But that there, when I jumped into the market, I was obviously late, and that looked to me like a triple test. It was bouncing off that line and we're in a downtrend, so I jumped in. Fortunately, I jumped in about 1 tick below. If I'd have gotten any lower, which I do on some of my trades, I'd have got burnt there. So I think the trick is sometimes not to get too excited and think, oh yeah, trade, jump in. You have to give it time. If you're not sure, it's not clear, you have to give it time and mull it over for 10 seconds. And if you can get it on a limit order, great. But if it goes without you, I think you've got to have the strength of mind to go, okay, well, I wasn't ready. It wasn't clear. You've got to sort of let it go. I think what Mac doesn't teach, what you can't teach. Yeah. That's the key, isn't it? Having that filter. Because trades can happen quickly and you can miss them. And I think sometimes we get frustrated when we miss a trade, and that can tend to force you to try and act a bit too quick. Yeah, that's the key. If you can have runners, the frustrating thing is with runners, and I think Max says this, not to trade any more than 20 or 25% of your pot size. So on 2 contracts, you just can't trade runners. And the runners are what I class as the bonus. So you never know what you're going to get. If you take a short here, and you might get 3 points, you might get 20 points. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have that little bit of excitement on a runner, but you can't really trade runner on 2 contracts, really. You need to be trading 4, really, and trade 1. Now, you can trade 20 micros and trade 5 micros on a runner, but you'd be paying through the nose in fees. It says you're wrong, not the market, which I agree. Yeah, absolutely. But never marks a loser. I dare say Mac doesn't take many losers. I mean, some of the trades he marks, well, I don't know. I would have said Mac is probably trading, I would say somewhere well into the 90s and mid to late 90s, I would say, personally, because he's been doing it that long. He's got that filter and he just knows what to miss. Excuse me a sec, my dog's annoying me. Oh, Daniel's here now, everyone, on your best behaviour. No stupid trades. Where's this going now? Look, why don't you trade 10 contracts? 10. The trouble is, if I traded 10 contracts, 2 trades, and that would more or less, I think if you lose $2,500, you trade 2 contracts, so a 2-point move on 10 contracts is $1,000, so you can lose 6 points. So if you lost 2 trades, you wouldn't have enough to carry on. Now, if you're maybe someone like Daniel who has got the filter, then you probably could max out on your trades, and the chance of losing 2 in a row is probably slim to none. So, I wouldn't trust myself. I trade 10 contracts on an evaluation because I like the fact that if I can get 2 2.25 point trades, 3 of them, I've passed it. But I couldn't bring myself to do that. I think 2 is enough for me. You know, maybe a few years down the line. Yeah, I think you're right to a degree there, Daniel. There is a psychological side. I don't find it bothers me too much, but the bit it's changed me is I'm not revenge trading. That's what I was doing all the time. I think it benefits me at the moment. Whether I'll continue to do it, I don't know. I tend to not do. I get the urge sometimes when things go wrong to jump in, but I don't do it because I'm sort of, live streaming. Daniel, I don't know why you don't stream, mate, but I don't know, record it where no one makes comments. I'll tell you what, people will pay you $100 a month to watch you trade. You get 500 people paying $100 a month. It's a lot of money. I'd quit my stream and pay $100. But obviously, like you say, you don't like the pressure. But if you had something that was recording you, like on a live Zoom chat or something, but have no comments and just carry on, I don't know would that affect you? I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it does. I tend to try and, if I'm looking at a trade now, I tend to try and not look at the comments because, yeah, you can, if someone says, short here or something like that. But in the past, I've listened to that and it hasn't necessarily helped me. How did I stop revenge trading? As soon as I started streaming. Just recall my trade center Mac and stopped when I got a 49-inch monitor because the resolution was so bad. So you got one of those super wide ones, have you? You posh bugger. Is that on your private island, Daniel? Got how the other half live, eh? How the wealthy live. Yeah. I'd pay to watch you live stream. But yeah, like you say, you're probably better off doing something. See, the Gorilla guy does it, doesn't he? But he does it on a Zoom, so it's sort of live. But you should do so. I'd pay to watch. I'd pay $100 a month. I mean, you think if you had 500 people paying you $100 a month, what's that? Who's the maths geeks here? What's that? 5,000 a month? 50,000 a month? On 100 times 10, that's 1,000 times 100, that's 10,000. Yeah, 50 grand a month. If you got 500 people paying you 100 a month, you'd be making 50,000 a month, Daniel. Just do it on a Zoom where there's no contact. People just watch. You don't have to say anything. We just copy you. See, I don't rate Thomas Wade. I know some of the trades he shows look quite rookyish to me. Personally, I like the Penguin guy. I think the Penguin guy is a better trader personally. Although Thomas is a lovely bloke. Who's this Daniel guy? I don't know. I don't know. He's just some guy who comes on here telling us how many millions he's earning. And watch money stuff. I think Daniel's one of our more experienced traders. He does okay. He does all right, I believe. We know he has a private island and a jet, I think. Penguin blew up his... What? Penguin did? Blew up his PA? Did he really? That don't sound like him. He sounds like a robot, that guy does. Or are you kidding? You're kidding. You're joking me, aren't you? No, he used to post more lines. I don't know, some of the trades he used to post, well, I found some of the losses were quite rookyish. Who told you that, Daniel? Was that my comment about your private island and your jet? I'm only teasing. Okay. We've had two legs off and we're bouncing off the top of this downtrend by the looks of things. You got a leg breaking a leg. So if we can get a lower high or something. Big Mama trade. Oh, I don't get that. The Big Mama trade, isn't that one of the panda guys? I don't understand. I don't understand it. I know he seems to be starting to make money. Confused. Penguin or panda? Oh, you're on about panda. You said penguin, you brat, didn't you? You said penguin. Oh, penguin. I think you got to write. You've gone to write panda, but put penguin. Not penguin. It was by. Right. Oh yes, trader. He put penguin. A bit of both. I'm going to say. I'll be surprised if the penguin guy does. But even the panda guy, he got his PA up to. Is it about eight winners? $8,000. I don't quite know how he did it, but he did it. Yeah, I agree with that. It is the discipline. Discipline and just experience on charts. Discipline, yeah, you need that above everything. I think that's absolutely the key. But experience of chart reading, as well as Mac puts it, like Mac is constantly reminding us, it's not easy. It takes time, and I think that's why people probably lose patience, because they think it comes quicker than it does. But I think the best thing you can do, and Mac will agree with this, and he's said it a dozen times, you need screen time just day after day after day, and sooner or later, it's like anything. If you look at something, sooner or later, it just becomes clearer. Ousting your secret, yeah. So that's the secret, is it? So two years of messing things up, and all I needed was patience. Okay, price is being held now by the top of this channel. We're going off board here, really, isn't it? Mind you know me. I like a chat just the same as the next guy. Price is holding here now. We've had like 2 legs up. If you've got anything similar to my channel. He made over 100,000 in 2 months. I bet Daniel's got 100,000 in his pocket right about now, I'd say. He probably takes that out in his wallet for a drink, I think. Roughly around there. Wow. All right, about now, if I could earn $10,000 a month, I'd be over the moon. How long have you been trading, Daniel? That will give us an idea. I'm guessing you've been trading a few years, maybe 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there, 8 maybe. How long have you been trading, bud? Don't think I've ever asked you that. How long have you been trading, Dan? How long have you been trading? It's important. We need to know. Because if you say 2 years, I'm giving up now. Okay, prices bounced a few times, almost 4 years. Okay, so that's about double me. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'd say you picked it up pretty well. Because like Max said, it takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight, does it? And I've been trading this 2 years, 2 years and a month. So, yeah, in a couple of years, yeah, that's it. It takes time, doesn't it? It does take time. But obviously it depends on the individual as well. If you're generally quite motivated or quite driven. I've struggled in the past, I have, with motivation sometimes. But I am a trier. I just never give up or I'll die trying. Okay, so we're touching a bunch of times along here, so it's respecting this. So we have had quite a reasonable move, so quite often you get a lot of it back, don't you? So we're looking for something below the EMA, really. I think you should invite us all over to your island, Daniel. Did I have a message from somebody? Yeah. Over happened to top pick trading. It's still going, I think, isn't it? I like Marco, he's a nice guy. And Taylor as well, his mate, I think. Can compete with Apex. In fact, there was had a question answered yesterday by the top pick, the guy who owns Top Pick Trading. I was watching some news last night and I was on this guy's channel and he had the CEO from Top Pick Trading. And I posted a question which he answered. Didn't really make sense, but yeah, Apex are pretty big, aren't they? They seem to be growing. Marco, another great trader to learn from. I do like Taylor, actually. To beat those 90% sales, yeah, it is. I mean, even at 80% off, I think Top Step, I think he mentioned to me, this Top Step guy, it was $49, I think, for their cheapest one, compared to $33. The trouble is, when you're learning to trade, it costs a lot of money as it is, so you want to try and keep your things to a limit. And to be honest with you, there's nothing out of trading that I'd want more than Apex give me anyway. Okay, so it's bouncing off the top of this channel. That's a lower high there. The trouble is, it's a bit congested there, so if we can get maybe something through the EMA, I really like that bar, the way it's bounced in. If it comes down, Mac will mark that, but in all honesty, I can't take it. Yeah, it's clearly bouncing off. We started here, touched a couple of times here, touched here, touched a bunch of times here. It's definitely respecting the top of that, and we've had one leg and another leg. I'm tempted to take that one, but I just can't really. It is a lower high. Trouble is, it's above the EMA by a bit too much. But as it's bouncing there, we get a nice bearish bar. It's the type of bar which would just come down, but yeah, but that's the trouble. It's sideways, although it is respecting that. That's the trouble. That's the thing about discipline. It's looking like it's going to come down. It's sort of a lower high, but you have to keep it in mind. It's congested at the moment, and as much as it's probably going to tank, you just can't do it, because sometimes when you get in these trades, they will tip below and stop you out, and then you'll get a bigger bearish bar. But you could maybe get a failure here. Caleb, didn't you comment on my... Was that you, Caleb? About that trade I did yesterday? I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was. If we can get a bullish bar here and then a trigger above it, then that would be a failure. So hopefully we get a bullish bar here and a trigger above it, and then it comes down some more. So let's just get a... let's get
order submitted.
Just in case. Probably just tank it. I have the break and a new low. Do you really?
Order cancelled.
The break. See, started here, touched 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 here. To me, that fits lovely. I can't see where you've had the break, depending on where you've drawn from. See, touches here, touches here, touches here. It fits perfectly along there. Break and two legs down. Where have you drawn your chart from? Up here somewhere. It was Caleb. Yeah. Okay, I thought it was. Yeah, I know what you were saying about that. I know what you're saying. See, we had a leg up. But that, to me, I was treating that as a failure. And you were on about going into support. But obviously, when it's ranging like this, there is loads of support. And I was trading the thing. And I think what it was is we had a move up, and I took the failure. In all honesty, it wasn't the fact that it wasn't going to push in. It was a weak signal bar. The signal bar was a little bit too high, and I think that's why it worked. You took the higher low, fell second entry, short on that move up. You're about the one yesterday, I think, aren't you? Yeah. This looks to me like it's coming down. I was hoping we get a bullish bar here and then a trigger above it. Yeah, see, that to me looks like it's fitting lovely there. So I'd continue down. There is strong liquidity here, so I'd expect to get down there. Well, I say I'd expect to. It's down there anyway, so I know it's possibly there. So you think we've had a break and a couple of legs down? Oh no, today. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Let me have a look. What did you say again? No, I took. Fail second entry short. That one there. Yeah. See, has anybody else got their channel like that? The reason I like it as well, it's touched once, a few times there, a bunch of times there, and 1, 2, 3, 4 times along the bottom. That's why I like it. Just happened. Yeah, it did look like a leg and then a leg, didn't it? Trouble is, we're coming down at the moment, see, so... yeah, same channel. Took the higher low. You mean lower high? That one there. I looked at it. To me, it was bouncing off that line. That bar looked to me how it closed out the bottom there. It looked like it was going to drop. Trouble is, it's a bit congested, so sometimes they just work. I was tempted, but Daniel's watching me, so I need to be on my best behaviour. Don't quote me though. Just saying I have it. Yeah. The trouble is, I say I wish I'd have taken it. If I'd have taken it and it triggered below me, but it's the fact that it's touching really nice there. And I know we've got this strong liquidity. There's 5,500 orders down there, which is below here. So leg. Looks like a leg. I'm so tempted just to toggle off and not to take a short of that congestion. Yeah, it's so tempting. And if you look back, now the trouble is, if Mac marks that, I'm going to ring him up and give him a mouthful. Because it's obviously worked. So in fact, it'll be, it's Thursday, isn't it? Oh yeah, okay. He might call that a lower high now, and it's respected. He may say it's a lower high and it's respected in that channel and it's closed below the sort of general line. So I wouldn't be shocked if he marks that one, but it is congested and it is frustrating when you see that big move. It is congested, but what do? You know, you're told to stay out of congestion, but you know, I have heard a couple of times you can trade congestion as long as you understand what's going on. So that'll give us a conversation for tomorrow, Caleb. If Mac does mark that, he shouldn't do really. We'll see. Okay, lay down. So maybe that's a. Let's have a look. Has it bounced off anywhere there? Yeah, see, if I was on an evaluation, I'd have taken that one. I don't mind being a bit more risky. And I am on evaluation, but I've got it tied in on a replicanter with the rest of my trades. So it's not a lower high. If Matt marks it, I am going to send him a meaning. But it sort of is a lower high because we've got a high and it's a lower high. But you know, Mac teaches us it's congestion. Now, the one thing I will say is if this chart's right, it's clearly reacting to this chart. Now, let's have a look. You've got a bullish bar there at the top. Worked. That one worked. And that's relatively, bullish, relatively bearish. That one could have done with being a little bit lower, but that's relatively bearish. But it looks to me like it's just testing the top of this, and then we get something bearish. And that looks to me like a bunch of traders have got in that, thinking we're clearly respecting this line now, let's go short. And I think that's what's happened. But no swing. Sometimes it'll do that though, just go sideways until it picks up a really, a nice bar. The type of bar that goes, okay, this is the one, boys, let's go. And it looks like everyone's jumped in on that. Key entry point takes present over congestion, and there's no rule you can't take congestion. Yeah. So do you think that's okay to take, Daniel? If you look, started here, touched a couple of times, touched here, touched a bunch of times here. I personally don't think that's a bad bar to take. I kind of like it. That to me, especially as we're retested, we broke above, come back down, and we've retested these a few times. And then we've got a bar, a nice looking bearish bar, which is closed out the bottom, and it's respecting. So for me, I think personally, I didn't take it because I'm just trying to be extra cautious. But yeah, it's congested. But I've heard a few people say you can trade congestion as long as you understand what's going on. But yeah, it's okay. I think it is. It is congested, but sometimes it is congested, but it'll usually go in a certain direction. And if you're reading the market right, and at the moment, obviously the bias is clearly down, and it is respecting the line. So I don't know. I trade congestion if it has a double test the key entry point. So do you think that's okay to take? Yeah, channel looks right with all the touches at the top, the bottom, and the midlines holding support and resistance. Yeah. And it is, if I get rid of that a bit, it is a lower high, isn't it? There's our high after this. And it is a lower high, bearish. And if you look, it's sort of out the bottom, really, isn't it? I think my only slight dilemma. But the trouble is, we see Mac taking trades above the EMA all the time. But the point is, it's bouncing off that same line, and it's touching the bottom. Equally, even better, actually. So, yeah, I agree, actually. Daniel's one of the charts I look forward to. In fact, when I went from trading 1 point a year and a half ago to trading 2 points, it was Daniel's charts I used to help me make my decision. I look back on them for 2 weeks, 10 trading days. And I think he marked 30-something trades, including some of the green ones, and every single one of them went for 2 points or more. In fact, all over 2 points, and that's when I changed to. Yeah, if you can post your charts, Daniel, that'd be nice, mate. I'd appreciate that. You'd help us younger fellas out. So, leg down. So, that looks like another leg down. Now, I'm going to do something. No, it's all right. I was going to switch over just to my... if it's a strong trend, you keep... Generally, you can take it and disregard the EMA. Yeah. Watch a channel. He hasn't got a channel, mate, I don't think. He just... do you know what? I'm just going to toggle off my... I've got an evaluation here. Leg. It's bouncing on that midline at the moment. Yeah, I like it. I was very tempted to take it. That's a leg down. I am tempted to...
Order submitted.
Why isn't that working?
Order submitted.
Eh? 10 contracts.
Order filled.
Oh my Christ, now it's... Oh, bloody hell, that's weird. Okay. It's alright, I'm just trading an evaluation here. I kind of liked it leg and a leg. Hello, Bart Fly. How are you, my friend? Leg, pull back, leg. Yeah, if you wonder if I'm doing something crazy, yeah, I am trading evaluation. I'm going to move that a bit higher. I'm not bothered, it's only $30. It looks like a leg, maybe a couple of legs back and then down again. Now come down. This will tell me whether Nick's right and the channel's different. We are indeed, because that is the type of trade that will get trapped. Yeah, if you see what I'm doing 10 contracts here and you start thinking, what's this crazy idiot doing? I'm just trading an evaluation, that's all. Riskily. We just got a leg back. How are you, Bart? So watch the support. Yeah, I don't mind taking risks with these. I would say I probably blow every other one of them. I'll pass one and blow one. It's respecting this. That looks like a leg down to me. I'm expecting 2 pushes up and another leg down. I like the way we've got a bullish bar there. It's a bit too far away to trade my PA account there. But it does look like a leg. A couple of pushes and another leg. So we'll see. Yeah, it has. But we've held here, we've had a pullback and pulled down. We've held here, we've had a pullback and pulled down. It's held here, we've had a pullback. That looks to me. So I'd say there's quite likely, well, I don't know. There may be some longs in there. See if where is he? Where's Nick? If Nick thinks this is already had a break, Nick may be in that long. So if you're in that long, Nick, thanks, mate. Now I prefer that. Now let's have a look. I prefer that to push down below there. Then we may get this measured leg, a leg and a leg. Let's pull that down to about here. Maybe not too greedy. Let's have a look. Okay, there may be a double trap there, look. If we get below here, I think we're golden. If I can get 4 points out of this, I'll be very pleased. Could also be in a range now. Yeah, it's possible. So I envisaged what was going to happen, and I just jumped in. I do risk these evaluations a bit, but I would say, in all fairness, I probably fail one and pass one. I get a 50% hit, but I like getting them done quick and just done out the way. It has trigger below there, so we've got a leg down. In fact, I'm just going to put that liquidity where that measured move is, because it's just confusing things. We've got a leg down, a couple of legs. Let's see. I think it's worth the risk. Couple of legs. We are in a downtrend, so I would expect that to continue down. As I say, I'm not trading my PAs, just this one evaluation, because it is risky. And I know there's some very strong liquidity. There's nearly 600 orders down there, so... You have a range drawn, do you? We're near the bottom of it then in that case. So let's have a look. It's hard to say, isn't it? So it may be a case of getting out a little bit lower. Leg, a couple of legs up. We'll see. If we can get below here, and I expect to get down a bit more, but I don't mind getting 2 points out of it. But I am aware we got a lot of orders down here. So in that case, maybe just go for a couple of points. Let's just go for a couple of points. Hopefully it's bouncing off that that midline. It's bounced off that midline once. It is holding that midline. Support there, resistance there, but it had pushed below and it's bounced off once. So we'll see. Al Brooks sold the close. How do you know that? How do you know? Let's see if this one holds. It is an evaluation, this one, folks. I don't think I've just lost my marbles all of a sudden. I'm not trading my PA accounts. Yeah, Scruffy, I'll second that. It'd be nice to see your charts again, Daniel. It helps us younger fellas. I might have exaggerated on the young a bit, but it helps us less experienced traders. It'd be nice to just mark down, actually. It'd be nice if you could mark down a trade you took or trades you took, and then maybe that's it, I think. Yeah, we'll leave it with you, mate. We'll let you decide. No pressure. Okay, I'm waiting for my second leg down there. I'm not convinced there's a channel there. I'm not convinced there's that there, and I'll tell you why. It's only really touched once down the bottom. We've had 2 legs up, and I'm expecting a leg down. So I'm not convinced there's a channel. There's a range there. It might be. At the moment, we've got these just 2 top areas. Whether that's a break here, I don't know. Oh, I might lose this PA. And that's the beauty of being $33. I get usually a one-hit rate. I pass one, lose one, pass one, lose one. And the last one I passed. This is the first one I've done for a week and a half. So I'm just wondering whether Nick's theory of a break, mind you said we've had a break and 2 legs down, so I'm suggesting this is his break. So if we've had 2 legs down, we've come down again and pushed back up. Yeah, see, it does look like it's about to sort of have a breakout, doesn't it? It may come up and retest this. Go for 6 points. I'm nearly 4 points down at the moment, mate. I don't. I mean, to be honest with you, I usually like, if I can get 6 points, then fine. But I'll usually wait for I get a nice slow move down, and that's when I'll usually jump in with these. I trade these a bit different, but yeah, 6 points and a tick. that will give you but I like to trade these a bit quicker. We fill the gap now. My concern is that bounce that we're going to hit this again, because we haven't come down close. Maybe this is just a slightly bigger pullback and retest this, I don't know. But I'm about 6 ticks away from blowing this eval, which I don't mind. No, of course it doesn't, but we had that channel down there and we had that drop out, that pull back and that one, so a couple of times you probably expect it to pull down again. I mean, we're touching the bottom nice as well, so there's no reason why it would go up. Well, there'd be no reason maybe not to take one of these. That would be too far away from the EMA for me to take on my live account, because it's risky. But I was hoping we'd break below there. But it is coming back to this line, and it's held before, so fingers crossed. And if it does, we may then get another leg down. But it may come up here. I'm not sure about a range. It might be. If I'm looking from there, that may just be a failed breakout. So... No, black line's in the way now, so... Okay, I'm just going to take a... Can't pick a top here. No, I'm just going to have a quick pee. You might see that blown when I'm out. I won't be a minute.
Order filled.
Oh well, I thought as much. Okay. Let's get back to 24. Okay, let's get back to... So, that is done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make sure I do this, because it's not the first time I've done that.
Order submitted.
Yeah, beautiful.
Order
Okay,
cancelled.
So, yeah, I know it, icky tree, but I don't. I know a lot of people trading with a bit more risk. I mean, to be fair, we've tested these tops nice, and we've come down, and we've had a breakout. EMA's facing down. Not only that, we've broke again. So you'd expect that to come down. That failed, I think, the break. Second leg's happened in the range. Yeah, you might be right. So you've come from here somewhere, haven't you? Have a look. I'm guessing that's you, Nick, is it? That one there. That's the first one I had, actually, and then when we hit this, I did it again, and we... So I think that's the one I had originally. From there, touch there, maybe a fraction higher. Yeah, that was the first one that's the first one I drew. Because we had a break and we came back down lower, and then we pushed up and we came lower still, and then we had 2 legs up and we bounced off this a few times, so I was expecting to come down some more. Let's have a look. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get rid of that. So that's about right, isn't it? Right. Okay. Now, I did mention that earlier. That could be an overshoot. Although it continued down, isn't it? No, you've got yours down here as well. You've got yours there, haven't you? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's how you had yours. So you said you had a break, right? Okay, because you said 2 legs. That's the only place we really had 2 legs. I think I had that initially. Cheers, thanks, Nick. I had that initially, and then we came down and then back up and then down again, and then 2 legs up and down again, which is why I drew that. Which is why I drew that sort of bigger channel. We have a trend break. You're looking for a new low to be made on this channel. See, Nick's just sent me that, and that's how I initially had it. But then I drew a larger channel, which was there. And the reason I liked it is because it touched. That's the trouble, is sometimes they can fit really nice. And if you look at that, touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here, it touched. Really, it was really effective. And not only that, we touched here, here. So we touched 4 times. And if you look at this channel, we came from about here. We didn't get back here, the bottom. So we touched 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it's hard to say. I mean, the fact that it only came down to here, see, the bigger channel I was looking at, and if that bigger channel was valid, it's feasible that we could, because this has come down to the bottom of the big channel, so it's feasible we get 2 legs up, and then we get 2 legs down, and that's why I jumped in there, because one, it was at a valuation, so it's only $33, and it looked like a leg, a break, and I expected another leg. Now I'm aware there's the bottom here, which I expected, and I am aware there's a lot of liquidity down there, so there was just a few reasons to me why that was going down. But if we have had a break, then that's the reason why that didn't come down lower, because we'd already made a new low, and that was a leg up and maybe a pullback and then maybe another leg up. But having said that, sometimes it can just make a break. The trouble is, we'd had this and we'd already made a new low, see? So there's the new low, so it just, we bounced there, we bounced another time. I don't know, sometimes you get a break. The blue one is valid as well. Yeah, so see if the blue one is valid, but as it bounced a few times here, it really tried a few times, didn't it? And then we had a leg down and we had a break. And it did try and go higher twice. Now, I know we made a new low, but it doesn't usually matter in a downtrend, which is why you can understand why I took that trade there. For me, we were going to have another leg down, which would be lower than this, towards the bottom of the trade, into that liquidity. But, just sometimes you'll misjudge something, or other traders might see it differently, or, they've tried to push it up. But also, if you look at that move there, I think it's possible we've retraced a chunk of that, haven't we? So where's the 50%? We're just below it, aren't we? But where was the original move from? Was it right from there? Yeah, so who knows? I mean, in all honesty, yes, I expected it to do that. Is it a great setup? Not really. It's a setup you probably expect to continue down, but if you look, it started then going a little bit sideways, so maybe, it was just going to bounce and push out. Who knows? Order flow wise, there was lots of aggressive buyers on that low. Yeah, so sometimes you just don't know, do you? I mean, it does seem to bounce on that line. There's definitely a little bit of resistance there. It breaks below it a bit, but pushes straight back up. But there is a bit of resistance there, so perhaps that's just it. So 1, 2, 3. there could be a triple test there, but for me, there's a small channel there. So I just want to be careful what I do here, because if we have had a break and this isn't valid, although I think it is, we could start to work up. But it just could be a leg and a leg. So it didn't trigger that bearish bar. But trouble is, you could say it's a triple test, but if we've already had a break and a new low, a triple test would be if we tried a few times to get higher and fail, but it's broken above there, so there is liquidity at 22, which is up here, and that's the highest I can see really, lump sum wise. Big delta divergence, yeah. See, that's the trouble. We don't use limit orders like we don't use indicators like that with this strategy. It is, it may be struggling to get above there. Depends where you put that. Okay, so we've got a channel here. We've had a break and a new low. So that's so flipping tempting. But no, I'm just going to leave alone actually. You could say it's a triple test. Well, it's like it's working, doesn't it? Trouble is, I've seen trades like before. They push down a bit, come back, push down a bit, and they sort of almost tease you in, and then all of a sudden they'll turn around and push up. And I don't like the way that's done that. Are we coming down or are we going up? I'm not so sure. With 3 black crows to the downside. Yeah, take it easy, Nick. You stay safe, pal. We're going to go in circles. Yeah, you might not be wrong. Not looking good. The doji. Yeah. I don't know. It's tried a few times. It's holding, but I don't know. I've got a feeling we may hit back here and bounce. Oh dear. What to do? How to show the ATR. That comes as part of Max, I think, bud. Whether you can get it in here, you probably can. But I'm pretty sure... Where's my indicators there? I'm pretty sure it comes with this, I think. ATR, yeah. It's Max Toolbar. If you're a member of Max, and I think that's it. Max package, yeah, I thought as much. Okay, I'm going to knock it on the air, folks. What time is it now? It's nearly 5:30 UK time, isn't it? I've got $100 on me 5 PAs. That's $500 minus fees, about $92 each. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest with you. Don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to go and have me tea. So I was a bit late today, but you can't help getting flat tires. So that's it. Thank you, Ken. Anytime, mate. So that's it for today, folks. Back here same time tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. Don't forget, last day. There's 2 more days for the 80% off. Tomorrow and Monday. So my code's down there, UKFT80. It's a new code if you haven't got anything. So if you do use my code, it doesn't cost you anything, but I get a small kickback. And if you do use it or you have, it's much appreciated. And that finishes on late Monday, I think. Thanks for you. Thanks to you, Dr. Linney. So have a great evening, folks. If you're carrying on trading, good luck. And I will catch up with you all same time again tomorrow. Bye for now. Yeah, take it easy, Exponential.